Hello, and welcome to South Asia Diary with me, Mariam Wardak. Our cover story tonight is from Afghanistan. The Taliban's supreme leader has dealt another blow to women's rights. Afghan women have been ordered to wear burqas in public. The opposition to this mandate is universal. Activists, governments, right agencies, everyone has condemned this regressive order by the Taliban. Afghan women, too, are out on the streets, protesting. Will the backlash be enough to change the Taliban's order? How can the global community stand up to these violations? In tonight's episode, we take a look at these questions. Also on the show,
Kashmir logs record tourist season with around 600,000 visitors in the first 4 months of 2022. How China's predatory lending has saddled Sri Lanka with ghost buildings. Pakistan battles an intense heat wave with temperatures topping 50 degrees Celsius. Nepal's Kami Rita Sherpa extends his own record by climbing Mount Everest for the 26th time.
when the Taliban marched into Kabul last year, they claimed to have changed. Many people talked about Taliban 2.0, a new and reformed Taliban. 7 months later, those misconceptions have been dashed. The Taliban's supreme leader has issued a new decree. Women must always wear a burqa in public. Does this order have anything to do with religion? How are Afghan women reacting to it?
چې د ښځو حقوقو ته د شریعت په چوکاټ کې پابند واوسیږي زموږ د خواندو مندو هغه حقوق چې الله جل جلاله په شریعت کې ورکړي دي او زموږ د ملت ارزښتونه ایجابوي.
That was August 2021. People were talking about Taliban 2.0, the new and reformed rulers. 7 months later, Afghan women are on the streets. Every day has been an assault on their rights to education, their right to free movement, and all of it has been systematically dismantled. Then on May 7th came the decisive blow.
Those women who are not too old or young must cover their face except the eyes as per Sharia directives in order to avoid provocation when meeting men who are not mahram.
Overnight, years of progress was lost. Afghan women were given the most ruthless choice. Cover your face in public, or even better, don't bother leaving your home.
Not coming out from home without any reason is the first and best way of hijab.
The decree came right from the top, from Taliban's Emir Hibatullah Agunzada. He is intent on dismantling the last vestiges of women's liberty. No more free travel, no more schools, and now mandatory face coverings. Sort of like a throwback to the Middle Ages. The global response was united. Governments and rights groups criticized the Taliban's decree. Their words were sharp, but the effect was negligible. After all, when was the last time the Taliban bothered about public opinion? What they did not expect was this. Brave Afghan women standing up for their rights. In Taliban's Kabul, such protests are risky, especially for women decrying the burqa. But for these brave protesters, it's all worth it.
We want to live as living beings, live as noble creatures, not to live as a captive in one corner of the house, not to be held in the cage of house and our husbands go and beg for food. We never want a day like this.
Kabul is a city divided. One section is following the Taliban's decree, another is openly defying it. They say the decree has nothing to do with religion, that Islam does not deny women rights. The religious argument is unlikely to hold. Fanatics seldom care about logic. The Taliban are no different. For them, it's all about control, subjugating and enslaving women, just like they did back in the late 1990s. But the Taliban seem to have forgotten one key thing. 2022 is a long way away from 1996.
Women are not the same as 20 years ago, who endured every problem and every word by force. Their steps have been firm and steadfast, and as always, they stand up and defend their rights.
As long as the Taliban hold the gun, their flag will fly. With each passing day, Afghan women will lose more rights. Can the international community stop this? The United States says they have leverage over the Taliban. If true, what are they waiting for? Surely the dehumanizing of Afghan women is a good excuse to use that leverage. South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
Kashmir has witnessed record-breaking tourist footfall in the last decade. Hotels and houseboats are fully booked, and tourists are lining up for the famous boat rides on the Dal Lake. The last 4 months have been especially significant. Around 0.6 million tourists have visited Kashmir in this period, and the numbers are only rising.
They call it paradise on earth. And why wouldn't you? Kashmir's legendary beauty is hard to explain in words. So just watch and admire. Before the insurgency, tourists would flock to Kashmir. Bollywood movies would inevitably be shot here. Now that buzz is back. According to the tourism department, 600,000 tourists visited the valley in the last 4 months. The numbers are the highest in the last 10 years. And with Amarnath Yatra starting in June, the government expects the numbers to grow further.
As you know that during the winter season, be it January to March, April, this has been a very good season. And even in April, if we see, figures have been quite good. And we had a tourist flow of more than 6 lakh tourists during first 4 months of this year, and we are expecting the way things are moving and tourist flow is going on. We must expect that this must be a very good tourism season and tourism year. And given the fact that Yatra is also happening, and that gives a good push to our tourism sector in Jammu and Kashmir overall and Kashmir particularly. And this time we will be welcoming tourists for Amarnath Ji Yatra, as well as to other tourist destinations, so that while they are on the pilgrimage affairs here, they shall also enjoy the other beauties at different locations of the valley.
The last 3 years were tough for the tourism industry. The COVID-19 pandemic brought the world to a standstill. Kashmir too incurred huge losses.
5 to 6 lakh tourists has already visited valley since from we can say from December, January last year, December, a couple of decades, maybe more than that, that during this period 5 to 6 lakh tourists have touched the valley. We are the promoters of this destination, so we are in this trade. So our message will be always people within the country, outside the country, who have visited already come again and visit this paradise, and who have not visited. So our message is you must come once in your life at least to visit the valley.
Now is probably a good time to visit. Most of India is reeling under an intense heat wave. Here, temperatures are hovering around 20 degrees. Nippy but comfortable.
I have come earlier also. It was so beautiful. And I came in 2014 also and witnessed snowfall. Tulip Garden was so beautiful. I'm sure millions of people have come here and it looks much more developed now. It's a great place and everyone should come. Those who don't are missing out on something beautiful.
It's very beautiful. From Dal to houseboats to shikaras, everything is beautiful. We are going to Gulmarg and Pahalgam. We can see a lot of people here and lots of relatives also visited. Everyone should come to the valley once.
Pretty soon, the buzz will grow louder because the next few months will kick off the Amarnath Yatra. The government is expecting 500,000 to 600,000 pilgrims this year.
Kashmir Valley has broken a 10-year-old record of tourist arrivals. According to Jammu and Kashmir's tourism department, more than 0.6 million tourists arrived in the Kashmir Valley in the last 4 months. And with Amarnath Yatra just round the corner, these numbers will further go up. With video journalist Feroz Idris Lone for WION World is One.
An intense heat wave is sweeping through South Asia, and Pakistan is among the worst affected. In some cities, temperatures have topped 50 degrees Celsius. Doctors are asking people to avoid the sun and stay hydrated. Let's take a look at how residents of Karachi are beating the heat.
South Asia has been gripped by energy-sapping temperatures since March this year. Here in Karachi, neither the population nor the architecture is suited to cope with it. Your body will try to cool down, but the humidity won't allow it to. What's worse, the power could go out anytime. The supply is simply not enough to cover Karachi's insatiable demand for electricity. And now, the city's meteorologists are warning that the stifling atmosphere could get hotter, with temperatures expected to rise to 50 degrees Celsius.
In May and June, there is usually likelihood of a heat wave in Pakistan. In Karachi, usually a low-pressure system forms above the sea, which causes heat waves. It may also occur because of cyclonic activity. Last year too, heat wave conditions prevailed for 3 to 4 days because of cyclonic activity.
Deaths are not uncommon either. The human body can only tolerate so much. Beyond that, critical systems start giving up.
Deaths are feared when the heat index shoots up along with the heat wave, when relative humidity jumps, when the temperature is 40 degrees Celsius plus, particularly if it rises to 43 or 44. If along with that there is 50 to 60% humidity, then the heat index shoots up, which causes deaths.
In the hospital, corridors and wards hum to the sound of fans and air conditioners. Doctors are advising people to remain indoors and drink lots of water to avoid a heat stroke.
People should avoid being outdoors from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Keep children indoors. If you must go out, you should cover your head. People must drink a lot of water in order to avoid dehydration.
The situation has been exacerbated by the power shortages across the country. Many cities have been going without electricity for 6 to 8 hours every day. People are buying generators and battery-powered fans and air conditioners as the electric supply from the national grid fails.
It is too hot. There is no electricity supply, so I have purchased this DC air conditioner. It runs by means of a battery. There is no other option. The government is not providing electricity. Life is miserable.
Food sustainability could also become a concern. 60% of Pakistan's population is directly or indirectly reliant upon agriculture. Crops such as wheat, rice, cotton, sugarcane and maize rely on predictable weather, including rainy seasons. But right now, only one thing is predictable: the insufferable heat. South Asia Bureau, WION World is One.
Climbing the Everest once is a lifetime achievement for many. So imagine climbing it 26 times. That's what one mountaineer in Nepal has done. He climbed the world's largest mountain for a record 26th time. Where does he find the inspiration? Does being a veteran make it any easier?
Have you ever wondered what summiting the Everest would feel like? The excitement, the view, the adrenaline. For Kamirita Sherpa, it's all too familiar because he just summited the Everest for a record 26th time. Kamirita Sherpa is part of Nepal's rope fixing team. Every season, they are first to climb the Everest. They prepare the route for the climbers to follow. Last year too, Kamirita was part of the team. In 2021, he completed his 25th ascent, and this year, his 26th. Kamirita now leads the Everest record. Below him is Pasang Dawa Sherpa with 23 ascents. For most climbers, summiting the Everest is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. How do these men find the drive, the hunger to undertake the grueling journey again? For Kamirita, it's all part of national service.
Some people chase records, but I have not been doing this for records. I think about how we can increase tourism in Nepal, what we can do for more mountain climbers to come here and how can we satisfy them and make them happy.
Nepal has reopened its borders for tourism this year. As expected, Mount Everest is the big attraction. To climb Everest, you need a special permit. This year, 316 permits have been issued. Now every climber is accompanied by a Nepalese guide or Sherpa. Put together, that's almost 600 climbers on the mountain. Kamirita's job was to pave their way, to lay ropes, fix ladders, basically prepare the route. As new record holders emerge, so do doubters. Is it easier to climb the Everest today? Has modern technology made Kamirita's job easier? Well, technology has made everything easier, but climbing 8,849 meters is not an easy task. Technology or no technology.
People say the mountains are easier now, but that's because there is training schools now and we can get technical mountain gears. None of that was there before. But the work we do is the same as when Hillary climbed.
For Nepal, climbers like Kamirita are brand ambassadors. Their expeditions are like an advertisement. And right now, Kamirita is a market favorite. South Asia Bureau, WION World is One.
That's all we have for you on this episode of South Asia Diary. We'll be back next week with a brand new lineup of stories. Until then, stay safe. I am Mariam Wardak and you are watching WION World is One.